And you're on the Tisha Love Boat.
All right.
And we're talking about the fact that you two met 25, 27 years old. You built this life for yourself to the point where you're able to talk about a family crest, which everybody should look into because that's very important when you make a certain amount of money to be able to really sustain generational wealth and make sure that your offspring and whomever can take what you built and build a life from it. So when it comes to your wife, Letitia, a lot of people have said some very nasty things about your wife. They've called her everything from stupid to naive, to not standing up to you, to being weak. To the point where when I had Tisha on my podcast, she mentioned how she took a break from social media because it was very hurtful for her to read those comments. As her husband, when you read those comments about your wife, somebody who you've been with for 17 years, as the man, the provider, how does that make you feel when you read those things?
You know, that's the one thing that was tough for me because I got thick skin. I mean, you know, when you're growing up poor, you got to have hands or be funny, you know. And at times I had hands, and a lot of times I was funnier, right? And so you can get people off you like that. So social media for me has been the lunch table. You know, you say a joke on me, cool, I'm back at you. You know, and I'm having fun. But then I turn around and I look at my better half, and it's affecting her more than I thought it should. You know, and that's a growth thing. That's a thing that no human's capable of that. Like I don't care what nobody says. All right, number one, people read the comments. Bottom line, they fucking read the comments. All right, and two, people saying good things about you make you feel good. People saying bad things about you, especially when it's a collection of them, you don't feel good, right? And what you have to learn is how to allow your opinion of yourself to be greater than their opinion. But it was a tough situation. It was a tough situation. Like we would have great summers and great beginnings. And then as soon as the show started airing and we started getting things, we'd get into this little area. And I watched her fight through that for the last 3 or 4 years, well, for first 3 or 4 years. I went through it for about a week. And she went through about 3 or 4 years. And to see her go through that and emerge into a more beautiful.
Talk to me, not to cut you off. When you say go through that, what does that look like?
I'm saying is that
like is it depression? Is it in the bed? Is it crying?
It's not crying. It's not outward, but you being around somebody this long, you know the energy. Bottom line, right? So you know what's really what that's we're having arguments that we never had before, and then what's worse is like when we're filming, right? What's worse is that I'm not talking to my wife. I'm talking to the person acting as Marsau's wife. Not making sense?
Explain that to me. No, I want to go there with you. Explain that to me.
It's a looking glass self. And so everybody, I watch all my castmate students, right? Some do it to more extent than others. What they do when they get in scene, they look at them, they ask themselves, what is everybody going to think about this scene? And then there comes an overreaction. And so reality TV is real, right? And it's real to the point of even when something may not be totally, you got to tell a story. It's what would you do if, and what would you do if this right here? So the same time that someone may say this word right here, they might call you a bitch and you don't think twice of it. When you're being recorded, you can't let them call you a bitch in front of everybody. So now this is your reaction, how you do that.
So when I'm so happy we're having this conversation. Number one, you're right. So what I tell my raindrops, Marsau, is I call it, there's various degrees of this when you are a reality star, but I call it the red light special because it's when the red light comes on that camera and you sort of transform a little bit, you sort of you're activated a little bit more, right? And sometimes you're having conversations and you're saying things with social media in mind, with the viewers in mind.
Exactly.
So me and Tisha, I'm speaking for you. Me and Tisha may have a disagreement on a Tuesday at 1:00 with no cameras. It's going to be very different if it's Wednesday, 1:00 with cameras.
Two situations. The other side of the tracks and being jealous. Those were not situations where I would never take a dig at my wife, right? Ever. And I didn't see it like that. And even if I stepped on your toes and you said, oh, baby, you're on my toes. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to be on your toes. But when I step on your toes and you punch me in the back of the head and I don't even know I stepped on your toes, now we're like, why'd you hit me? And even though I created the first offense, that offense was incidental, right? And even if it's wrong, I'll never say it again. I did not mean that. It's not what came out. I mean, it's what came out, but it's not what I meant. The reaction that I got was a videotape reaction. And so what's been what's been challenging with me a lot of times is that it's like, you know, and it hasn't been this way until like the last couple of years. It's like, I'll say the first year we did it, then a couple of years, it's been kind of like, who am I filming with, dog? You know, like this ain't us. And I'm so happy that we went through that, right? I'm so happy, guys. Thank you, everyone who's called her stupid. Thank you, everyone who's called her dumb, who said anything bad about our relationship, because we've never been tested. And most people in their relationship never get tested. And so now, back against the wall, y'all forced us back to the love. It was Marsau and Tisha against the world. Fuck us now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, thank you. I appreciate it, because now all it does is make us stronger. And people don't understand the strength of Tisha. I'll tell you what, they can't even take a person in a county not liking them, let alone motherfuckers on TV up and down. Stupid. You should leave them up. That's coming against the best things you ever had in your life. All right. And you tell me that person can maintain and keep moving forward through all of this, being submissive. People think submissive is weak. Submission only comes through strength. Anybody can get their ass whooped. Anybody can get killed. You know what I'm saying? It took Jesus to say, no, I'm going to lay down my life. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can get killed. They'll crucify niggas all day. But him to say, you know what, I could stop this, but I'm going to give this up. I could be a boss, but I'll take you this right here. That's submission. That's a lot more strength than anything else.
Go ahead, brother. That was okay. First of all, I think you're very smart. And the reason why I think you're smart is because, listen, we have conversations all the time. I call Marsau sometimes for business advice, like, yo, I'm trying to do this, whatever, because he is very, very, very smart. And one thing I know about Tisha is the fact that I could not agree with you even more. Tisha is very strong. And this is coming from somebody who's been doing this for over 15 years. I've seen comments break people to the point where, and this is no shade, I've seen it break people to the point they refuse to come back to the show.
Right.
Or to your point, they start to become someone else. And I'm like, this ain't the person I hired. I don't know who you are anymore. And that's what happens. And one thing I always said about Tisha is herself. And let's not negate the fact that your wife is one of the most beautiful women on reality television. And let's not act like that don't play a part in some of the hateful comments, because if Tisha was, and listen, I think God's children are all beautiful because we are all created in his image. And that's how I feel. There's some people that a lot may say are unattractive. Your wife is not one of them. So when Tisha chocolate skin glistens, on 4K HD,
Big bad.
people are going to go in even further
And
because,
she looking thick.
well, I ain't gonna say all that because that's your
Make me
wife. I just
stutter. Make me stutter.